When I was in the 6th grade, my friend told me that her mom told her that marriage is hard work. And I remember thinking, what? You know, you have a ceremony, you get a ring, I mean, what's so hard? I'm still learning. A few years ago, my husband and I, we moved from Alaska down to the Pacific Northwest, and suddenly everything became hard. Things that we didn't normally even think twice about became topics on which we had firmly held opinions and passionate debates. And these were things like, should the couch go perpendicular or parallel to the fireplace? We didn't have a fireplace in Alaska. Should we have curtains on the front window or live in a fishbowl? We didn't need curtains in Alaska. Should we leave the porch light on at night to deter prowlers? Or leave it off and be vulnerable? We didn't have to worry about that in Alaska. And suddenly my husband was like the spokesperson for the Alaska Tourism Board. It was like everything was better in Alaska, which he would tell you means the Great Land. Now, we had lived over 20 years in Alaska, and we didn't set out to live in Alaska for 20 years. That's just kind of the way our lives unfolded. And leading up to this inevitable move, we had debated making some changes, and some of our options had us living in Alaska, and some of our options had us coming to the lower 48. And then I had a job opportunity in the Pacific Northwest. And since my husband travels for a living and can live anywhere, we moved. And so in our relocation, we had a lot of decisions to make, and we made many of them hard. But none so difficult as how we would care for the lawn. So we moved down in February, which, you know, is kind of an inauspicious time to move to the Pacific Northwest. You know, everything's dead, it's wet. And so we decided that we would rent, so we could sort of get a sense of the communities in the area where I worked. And then this house opened up in this improbable little town, and we took it. We moved in, raising the town's population to 31. Now, the one thing that this house had, besides literally a white picket fence, was a large lawn. Now, it wasn't riding mower large, but it was big, and it said in the lease that we would take care of it regularly. So by the time we moved in, it was March. Now, the days are getting longer, the grass is starting to grow, and it was thick. And I started to feel anxious because we did not own a mower. We did not need one in Alaska. And so my husband and I decided that we would buy a used lawnmower. And we discovered that there was a man who lived in the area who found broken lawnmowers, he fixed them, and then he sold them. So it was perfect. It was a recycled lawnmower. So we're on our way over to Lawnmower Man's, and my husband says, now we don't need to get one with a bag. I look at him, yes, we do need to get one with a bag. He says, in all my years of mowing a lawn, we never used a bag. I counter. In all my years of mowing a lawn, we always used a bag. Besides, I am not going to rake up the mulch on that huge lawn when I'm done. And he says, we never raked. You see, they lived in the country. So we get to Lawnmower Man's, and you know, true to his advertising, he has about 100 machines, and they are all in lines across his yard. So as we were walking up and down these rows of lawnmowers, my husband leans forward and he says, do you notice the ones with a bag are $15 more? I'm like, we're good for it. So we ended up with a John Deere, you know, that cheerful green and a nice bag to pick up all the grass clippings. And we go home and we start to mow the lawn. And it was then that we discovered that our lawn was really uneven. I mean, it had all sorts of pits and divots and trenches and a swampy place. And with the mower, we couldn't get right up to the house or the white picket fence, so we needed a weed whacker. So we got a weed whacker, and thus equipped, we set out to take care of the lawn. Or rather, I did. Because about this time, my husband had to go on a trip. And so, you know, I didn't mind. was working outdoors. It took me about an hour and a half. I considered it a good upper body workout. And I quickly fell into this rhythm that I remembered as a kid. You know, when you weed whack first, and then you come through with the mower, and the mower would pick up all the grass. Well, my husband got home, and he was injured, so he couldn't mow the lawn. But what he could do was stand in the window and watch me mow it. And he offered helpful suggestions. Things like, you know, I really don't think you need to weed whack every time. Every other time would be fine. Or, you'd save a lot of time if you didn't use the bag. And finally he said, you're just doing too good of a job. And I thought, who is this man? This voice for mediocrity. Now, I have done plenty of things at a mediocre level in my life. You know, like the way I studied in college. But with this, I mean, why deliberately aim low? Just get by, not on my watch. So my husband recovered. We had company coming, and he was going to mow the lawn. So that day, when I got off the shuttle after work and I was walking up to the house, I was about 2 blocks away, and I heard the mower running. I was about 1 block away, and I could discern that he was not using the bag. And as I got closer, I could tell he had adjusted the wheels so that the mower was riding as high as possible over the grass, you know, merely suggesting to it that perhaps it might want to be cut. And that the heavy, long grass that was kind of damp, it was bent over, it was avoiding the blade completely, and the whole lawn was covered with mulch. When my husband saw me walk up to the house, he killed the engine, came running over, and he's like, what do you think? So I did what the counselor suggested. I thought, where do I want this conversation to go? And then I said, thank you for mowing the lawn. And I went in the house and I thought, well, this is it. You know, I'll mow the lawn with the bag, he won't, this is doable. But for the record, he did not weed whack. So our company came, and it was a hot weekend, and we were just in and out and in and out and in and out, and every time we came in the house, we tracked in that mulch. Yeah, and so as I swept up the kitchen floor for like the 14th time, I so wanted to say something. But I thought, where do I want this conversation to go? And so I said, it's been really fun to have company. And he agreed. Well, then our company left, and the lawn needed to be mowed. And my husband was leaving on a trip the next day, so he was just stuck in packing mode. But that was fine. I was going to go mow the lawn, good upper body workout. Now, the grass along the white picket fence, which had received the reprieve from the weed whacking previously, it was 15 inches long. So I decided to tackle that first, or the weed whacker. So that I'm there along the white picket fence, and the weed whacker is holding its own. But then it suddenly went, whoa, whoa, and stopped working entirely. It was very hot. It never worked again. Okay, I'll mow. So I pulled out the mower, I primed it, I pulled the cord, nothing happened. Pulled the cord again, nothing. Pulled again, nothing. My husband was watching from the window inside, so he came out, he pulled the cord, and it came off in his hand. And so he went and got his toolbox, I found a replacement cord, and we spent the next hour together fixing the mower. And then when the mower was fixed, my husband went inside to continue packing, and I set about mowing the lawn. And when I would do a pass over the grass that was really heavy and sort of bent over, it would receive its initial cut, and then it would kind of perk up, so I had to come over the grass again. I had to do the whole lawn twice, 3 hours. Now, I wish I could tell you that through all of this, I was thinking good Christian thoughts. But when I was done, I went into the kitchen, got a nice, cool drink. I so wanted to say something. But I thought, where do I mount this conversation? So I said nothing. And the next morning, as my husband put his luggage in the car, he turned to me and he said, I love you. And from now on, I will mow the lawn however you want. Now, you might think at this point I felt like I had won. But the truth is, I just felt relief. Because now we could move on to more important things. And I know you all know there are much more important things. And so, when you are in 6th grade, it might seem like marriage is just a ceremony and a ring and you're done. But I'm here to tell you that I do firmly believe that marriage is hard work, but it's that good kind of work, that work of the heart, seeking to ever to confirm with that special someone that Alaska, Washington, it doesn't matter. My home is with you. And along the way, we encounter these lawns. And it's how we choose to deal with the lawns. That is when we, like the grass, do grow.